Rachel Zegler is extraordinarily woke, but she's woke in a way that's quite deranged.
No one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie.
But you don't seemingly like your own character, so she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat.
The star, Rachel Zegler, is unbelievably charmless in public.
I'm a narcissist. I don't know. I mean, it's always like my publicist Ashton was with me the last time it happened, and I was like, God, I hope no one. Because every time they come up to me, I'm always online for this freaking ride, and they think it's like I'm standing there waiting for the photo op, being like,
hard. And it's lonely. It's very lonely. I just know that if that loneliness can exist, so can other
dumb things I've said. I don't absolve myself from that. I'm not sitting here being like, I'm 21, please forgive me. Like, the stupid I've said and done is stupid.
And by the way, she's starring right now in Broadway's Romeo and Juliet, so don't go see that. Okay, she writes, I find myself speechless in the midst of this. Another 4 years of hatred, leaning us towards a world I do not want to live in, leaning us towards a world that will be hard to raise my daughter in.
I get stopped for photos every time I'm online for the Snow White ride, and it is I have to pretend like, oh God, well, crazy that we're in front of this.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
So it's not a progression at all to me. My issue with it is exactly what you said. There are actors, dwarf actors, that that dream to be in a major motion picture such as this Disney remake.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her until I can see it in my hands and say, I am not broken, I am just learning. My break is not my end.
You've probably seen the headlines by now. Disney's Snow White reboot didn't just flop. It crashed and burned, pulling in a measly $88.6 million worldwide against an astronomical $270 million budget. That's right, folks. Disney poured nearly $750 million into this project, and what did they get in return? A box office embarrassment that has sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. But here's where things get interesting and twisty. While some critics have pointed fingers at the movie itself, blaming its script, direction, or even the controversial changes to the classic story, many fans aren't focusing on those issues at all. Instead, they're zeroing in on one person, Rachel Zegler. Yes, you read that right. The star of the film, the very actress who is supposed to breathe new life into Snow White, is now being blamed for dragging this fairy tale down into the dirt. How did we go from celebrating her breakout role in West Side Story to questioning whether she's the reason behind Disney's biggest disaster in years? From polarizing interviews and politically charged tweets to alleged leaked messages and tense on-set drama, Rachel's been at the center of a PR nightmare so massive that even Disney seems unsure how to handle it. So buckle up, because we're about to dive deep into why Rachel Zegler might be the reason this modern retelling of Snow White turned into anything but a happily ever after. Let's start with the numbers. At $270 million, this was one of Disney's most expensive live-action remakes ever. To put that into perspective, it cost more than some blockbuster franchises make in their entire theatrical run. Yet, despite all the hype and anticipation, the movie only pulled in $88.6 million globally, a staggering loss by any standard. Fans were quick to share their disappointment online through scathing reviews, memes, and social media posts. But what truly shocked everyone wasn't just the box office failure, it was how Rachel Zegler handled the fallout. Instead of rallying fans with heartfelt messages or doing cute, engaging promos to win them back, Rachel went on what many are calling an anti-fan tour. In interviews, she dragged the original Snow White film, trashing its storyline and making it seem like the entire project revolved around her vision. For instance, she criticized the classic tale's simplicity, implying that the original story lacked depth and relevance. This approach didn't sit well with audiences who grew up loving the original film. Even people who were initially excited for the remake admitted they lost interest after hearing her talk. Her comments came across as dismissive of tradition and overly self-centered, turning what could have been a moment of connection into a public relations disaster. It felt less like she was promoting a movie and more like she was using it as a platform to elevate herself, which left many fans feeling alienated and unenthusiastic about supporting her work. It got significantly worse when Rachel appeared as a guest on Jimmy Kimmel Live. In an attempt to lighten the mood and make a self-deprecating joke, she casually labeled herself a narcissist during the interview. Under normal circumstances, such a comment might have been brushed off with a laugh and quickly forgotten. However, given the mounting controversies surrounding her behavior both on and off-screen, this seemingly harmless quip took on a much darker tone. Fans immediately seized upon it, viewing it not as humor, but as undeniable proof of what they had already begun to suspect. Rachel truly believed she was above everyone else. But that wasn't even the worst part. Just when people thought the drama couldn't escalate further, a bombshell emerged from an unexpected source. Jonah Platt, the son of the movie's producer, Mark Platt. In a scathing public statement, Jonah didn't hold back in dragging Rachel over coals. He openly criticized her for being narcissistic and immature, painting a picture of someone who lacked professionalism and emotional maturity. According to Jonah, Rachel's toxic attitude and politically charged posts during the promotional period were directly responsible for derailing the entire film's reception. He went so far as to claim that her actions caused significant distress among the cast and crew, creating a tense and uncomfortable working environment. To make matters worse, coming from the producer's own son, this criticism carried extra weight. It wasn't just fans or random critics pointing fingers. It was someone intimately connected with the production process itself. This level of insider backlash is rare and speaks volumes about how deeply Rachel's behavior impacted those around her. For many viewers, hearing Jonah speak out felt like confirmation of their worst fears. Rachel wasn't just unlikable, she was actively damaging one of Disney's most ambitious projects. The embarrassment factor here is through the roof, leaving fans wondering if Rachel fully grasps the consequences of her actions, or if she'll ever take responsibility for them. Speaking of politics, Rachel took things to another level when she told fans that voting for Kamala Harris was absolutely non-negotiable. This wasn't just a casual suggestion. She went as far as encouraging her followers to unfollow her if they didn't align with her political views. Let's break this down for a second. You're starring in a family-friendly movie, one of Disney's biggest releases ever. Your entire job is to bring people together and get them excited enough to buy tickets, not drive away half your audience by pushing divisive opinions. It's understandable to have strong beliefs, but there's a time and place for everything, right? In this case, it felt like Rachel completely misjudged the situation. And if that wasn't enough, when the election results came in and Trump won, Rachel didn't hold back. She posted an angry rant about how it meant for more years of hate, going on to passionately criticize the end of reproductive rights. Now, again, everyone has the right to express their feelings, especially on issues they care deeply about. But the way she phrased it, so aggressive, so confrontational, it left many fans feeling alienated and uncomfortable. People started talking, and they definitely weren't letting her slide. They argued that her tone was off-putting, overly harsh, and frankly not what you'd expect from someone representing such a wholesome, universal brand like Disney. Fans even pointed out that her approach seemed more like a political activist than a movie star trying to promote a family film. It's no wonder why some viewers began questioning whether she understood the role she was playing, or if she cared at all about uniting her audience instead of dividing them. Things spiraled further when videos surfaced of Rachel behaving in ways that left fans feeling alienated and disrespected. In one particularly viral clip, a fan approached her with excitement, singing a line directly from her movie. Instead of engaging or showing gratitude, Rachel literally turned around and ran away, leaving the fans standing there awkwardly. It was a moment that perfectly encapsulated the growing disconnect between Rachel and her audience. But it didn't stop there. Another video emerged where Rachel openly admitted to hating being seen at the Snow White ride at Disneyland. Let that sink in for a second. She's playing Snow White, Disney's beloved princess icon, yet she acted as though associating herself with the character was beneath her. Fans couldn't believe what they were hearing. Even though, hello, you are Snow White, many pointed out. Her dismissive attitude came across as elitist and out of touch, giving off serious, "I'm too good for the commoners" vibes. What made this even more baffling was the contrast between how she'd been perceived earlier in her career. People had cheered for Rachel when she broke through as a fresh new face in West Side Story. She was seen as talented, authentic, and relatable. Now, however, fans were struggling to reconcile that image with the arrogant mess unfolding before their eyes. The change seemed so drastic that some wondered if the pressure of fame had gotten to her, or if this was just her true personality shining through. The confusion only deepened among fans. How did we go from celebrating a rising star to dealing with someone who appeared unwilling to engage with the very people supporting her? It wasn't just annoyance anymore, it was genuine bewilderment. Many felt like they barely recognized the person Rachel had become. Was this all part of an act, or had something shifted internally? Either way, these moments added fuel to the fire, making it clear why so many fans started turning against her. Rachel once said she has to pretend not to know she's at the Snow White ride when fans approach her. Think about that for a second. This is literally your job. You're Snow White. Fans come from all over the world to meet you, take pictures with you, and feel like they're part of the magic. But instead of embracing it, Rachel acts like it's some kind of inconvenience. If this were any other Disney character, we'd never see them shying away from their role. You don't see Ariel ducking and hiding when fans recognize her on a float during a parade. She waves, smiles, and makes everyone feel special. That's what being an icon is all about. It's not just about playing the role on screen. It's about embodying the spirit of the character in real life too. But Rachel? Her attitude speaks volumes. It's not just the pretending not to know comment either. There are the side eyes, the constant complaining, and the overall vibe that she's too good for this whole thing. Fans notice these little details, and they add up over time. Whether it's dismissing questions in interviews or avoiding interactions altogether, it paints a picture of someone who doesn't fully appreciate the opportunity they've been given. Meanwhile, she's the lead in one of Disney's biggest fairy tales, a franchise that means so much to so many people. You can't make this stuff up. How do you go from being the fresh new face in West Side Story to becoming the center of controversy after controversy? It's baffling, to say the least. Rachel Zegler made waves when she expressed her vision for reimagining Snow White's character, asserting that the beloved princess isn't dreaming about love anymore but instead focuses on becoming a leader. On the surface, this might seem like a refreshing update to an iconic fairy tale. After all, who doesn't love seeing empowered queens taking charge? However, the way Rachel framed this change struck many fans as problematic. It came across less as a modern twist and more as a subtle jab at traditional femininity. Fans were quick to pick up on this tone and voiced their dissatisfaction loudly. They argued that Rachel had fundamentally altered the essence of Snow White, transforming her from a soft, sweet, and relatable fairy tale icon into something colder and far less likable, a stereotypical girl boss archetype that no one really asked for. The shift felt forced, as though it was prioritizing edginess over staying true to the character's roots. And let's not forget the controversial new origin story for Snow White's name. Instead of being called Snow White because of her porcelain skin and raven black hair, a classic and straightforward explanation, Rachel suggested that she earned the moniker after surviving a snowstorm as a baby. While creativity in storytelling is always welcome, many fans questioned why Disney felt the need to fix something that wasn't broken. This change only added to the growing sense that Rachel and the filmmakers were trying too hard to make the movie feel relevant or groundbreaking. For some, it came off as unnecessary and even disrespectful to the original material. Why tamper with a timeless story that has resonated with generations? It just felt like they were attempting to be overly trendy, alienating longtime fans in the process. Ultimately, these changes left audiences divided and contributed significantly to the backlash against the film. Then there's the dwarf controversy, which only added fuel to the fire surrounding Disney's Snow White remake. In an attempt to be progressive, Disney decided to reimagine the 7 dwarfs using CGI instead of hiring actors with dwarfism. The move was controversial from the start, sparking a heated debate within the entertainment industry and among fans. Some praised Disney for choosing CGI, arguing that it allowed for more creative freedom in bringing the iconic characters to life. Others slammed the decision as exclusionary, pointing out that it denied opportunities to talented actors who live with dwarfism and dream of starring in major motion pictures like this one. Critics argued that Disney missed a chance to truly represent diversity by shutting out a community that could have played such pivotal roles authentically. Amidst all this backlash, multiple industry insiders have revealed that Disney is panicking over Rachel Zegler's behavior, which they believe has further damaged the public image of their $270 million project. According to sources close to the production, Disney execs are holding secret emergency meetings behind closed doors, desperately trying to figure out what to do next. These discussions aren't just about damage control. They're also focused on whether Rachel's continued involvement in promotional activities is sustainable. With the movie already flopping at the box office and Rachel's actions drawing even more negative attention, some insiders speculate that Disney might consider replacing her entirely for future projects or significantly scaling back her role in any upcoming press tours. It's clear that the studio is under immense pressure to salvage what remains of this once-anticipated fairy tale reboot, but with each new controversy, the task seems increasingly impossible. If that wasn't enough to fuel the firestorm surrounding Rachel Zegler, alleged screenshots of private DMs and group chats began circulating online, sparking even more controversy. While these messages haven't been officially verified, their content, if true, paints a concerning picture of Rachel's behind-the-scenes attitude. According to the leaked exchanges, Rachel reportedly complained bitterly about hating the Snow White set, describing it as an unwelcoming or uninspiring environment. She allegedly went further, calling the script a mess and expressing doubts about whether she believed in the movie's direction at all. For fans who were already questioning her commitment to the project, this was seen as the ultimate confirmation of their suspicions. The authenticity of these screenshots may still be up for debate, but the fact that so many viewers readily believe them speaks volumes about how Rachel's public image has eroded over time. Even without concrete proof, the allegations have added fuel to the growing narrative that she wasn't fully invested in the film. This perception is only reinforced by reports from industry insiders who claim that Rachel appeared visibly miserable in behind-the-scenes photos. Some sources describe her as barely interacting with the rest of the cast, seeming disengaged during interviews, and generally giving off an air of detachment. Fans noticed this lack of enthusiasm, pointing out clips where Rachel seemed distracted, uninterested, or simply not vibing with her co-stars. All of this combines to create a troubling image of someone who, despite being handed one of Disney's most iconic roles, didn't seem entirely on board with the project. Whether the leaked messages are genuine or not, they've undoubtedly contributed to the widespread belief that Rachel's behavior both on and off-camera played a significant role in the movie's downfall. It's clear that trust between Rachel and her audience has been fractured, leaving many to wonder if this marks the beginning of the end for her career, or if she can turn things around before it's too late. And now we arrive at the co-star drama, which has been whispered about in hushed tones across fan circles and industry insiders alike. According to alleged sources close to the production, tensions between Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot were palpable on set. It seems that their creative visions for the film couldn't have been more different. While Gal Gadot embraced a classic, graceful approach to portraying the evil queen, a nod to tradition and timelessness, Rachel reportedly wanted everything rewritten to align with her vision of Snow White as an independent leader. This fundamental clash in storytelling philosophies created a rift that permeated through every scene they shared together. Crew members who worked on the project have anonymously spoken out, describing the atmosphere as uncomfortable and strained. Some even went so far as to say it felt like walking on eggshells whenever the two leads interacted. The tension wasn't limited to just their performances. It spilled over into daily interactions and discussions about the direction of the movie. Imagine being part of a $270 million project where your lead actress is openly disagreeing with your other lead over creative decisions. It's not just awkward, it's nightmare fuel for anyone involved in such a high-stakes production. This dynamic was particularly jarring given the stakes involved. With Disney investing hundreds of millions of dollars into this reboot, one would expect harmony among its stars to ensure success. Instead, What unfolded was a clash of personalities and artistic perspectives that left many wondering if the chemistry between the two actresses could ever translate onto the screen. Fans began speculating whether this tension contributed to the overall flop of the movie, questioning whether the lack of cohesion behind the scenes trickled down into the final product. Ultimately, this co-star drama serves as another layer in the complex web surrounding Rachel Zegler's controversial tenure as Snow White. Whether these reports are entirely accurate or exaggerated remains up for debate, but one thing is certain. When two powerhouse talents can't see eye to eye, it creates ripples that affect everyone around them. For Disney, managing such internal conflicts must have been yet another headache in an already tumultuous rollout process. Finally, there's the infamous Free Palestine tweet, which has become one of the most talked about moments in Rachel Zegler's increasingly controversial career. On the very day Disney dropped the Snow White trailer, a major moment for the studio and the film's promotional campaign, Rachel decided to wade into deeply sensitive geopolitical waters by posting, "And always remember Free Palestine." Now, it's important to clarify that this isn't about taking sides on the political issue itself. People absolutely have the right to speak out on matters they care about, and many celebrities do so without sparking such intense backlash. However, timing is everything, and in this case, Rachel's decision couldn't have come at a worse moment for both herself and the movie. You see, Rachel's co-star in the Snow White remake, Gal Gadot, isn't just any actress. She's a former Israeli Defense Forces soldier who has been extremely vocal and public about her support for Israel. The two actresses were meant to represent unity and teamwork as part of Disney's massive $270 million project. Instead, their contrasting views created an undeniable tension that spilled over into real-world consequences. Reports claim that Disney executives were utterly shaken by the situation. They allegedly sent producer Mark Platt straight to New York for an emergency closed-door meeting with Rachel to address the fallout. This wasn't some casual chat. It was a high-stakes intervention designed to mitigate damage to the already struggling film. But it didn't stop there. Security measures for Gal Gadot were reportedly increased following the tweet due to concerns about potential backlash. Imagine that. Disney had to hire extra security during their own movie's rollout because of a single tweet from its lead actress. That alone speaks volumes about how badly things had spiraled out of control. It gave off the impression that Rachel wasn't just affecting her own image, but also putting her co-stars and the entire production at risk. Fans and industry insiders alike couldn't help but notice the irony. Here was Disney, trying to promote harmony through a fairy tale classic, only to find themselves embroiled in a very real-world conflict thanks to Rachel's actions. This incident became yet another example of why fans and critics began questioning whether Rachel understood the gravity of her role, not just as Snow White but as a representative of one of Disney's most iconic franchises. Her willingness to insert divisive topics into what should have been a universally appealing promotion left many wondering if she truly grasped the responsibilities that came with playing such a beloved character. Whether intentional or not, the Free Palestine tweet further cemented Rachel's reputation as someone who prioritized personal politics over professional obligations, leaving Disney scrambling to manage the fallout while maintaining appearances. In hindsight, it's easy to see why this moment struck such a chord. For all the talk of modernizing fairy tales and bringing fresh perspectives to classic stories, this episode highlighted the dangers of letting personal agendas overshadow the core mission of a project. As Disney continues to navigate the aftermath of the Snow White flop, questions remain about whether Rachel will ever fully recover from these kinds of missteps, or if the studio will decide it's time to move on entirely. At the end of the day, this entire saga surrounding Rachel Zegler and Disney's Snow White remake is nothing short of disappointing. Rachel was originally seen as a breath of fresh air in Hollywood, a young actress with immense talent who had already proven herself in West Side Story. She was supposed to breathe new life into one of Disney's most beloved characters, showing a whole new generation what grace, strength, and kindness truly look like. Instead, she became embroiled in controversy after controversy, turning what could have been a triumphant moment in her career into a public relations nightmare. From the very beginning, things seemed off. Rachel dragged the original film during interviews, making it seem like the entire project revolved around her vision rather than paying homage to the classic tale. Fans were left scratching their heads, wondering why someone so privileged to star in such a massive production would alienate them before the movie even hit theaters. Then came the Jimmy Kimmel Live interview, where she self-deprecatingly called herself a narcissist on national TV. While some might see that as humility, many interpreted it as confirmation of what they'd already suspected. Rachel lacked the charm and relatability expected from someone playing a fairy tale princess. But it didn't stop there. Her aggressive political stances further divided audiences. By telling fans to unfollow her if they didn't support Kamala Harris, or posting about reproductive rights immediately after Trump's re-election victory, she alienated half of her potential fanbase. For a family-friendly movie meant to unite people across demographics, these actions felt tone-deaf and divisive. Even worse, when the dust settled and the movie flopped at the box office, Rachel acted genuinely surprised, as though she hadn't contributed significantly to its downfall through her own behavior. The controversies extended beyond politics and interviews. Alleged leaked screenshots of private DMs painted a picture of an actress unhappy with the set, calling the script a mess and questioning the direction of the movie. Whether true or not, the fact that so many believe these messages speaks volumes about how Rachel has been perceived publicly. There were also reports of tension between her and co-star Gal Gadot, whose more traditional approach to portraying the evil queen clashed with Rachel's desire to rewrite the narrative entirely. These backstage dramas only added fuel to the fire, leaving fans questioning whether Disney had made a mistake casting her in the first place. And let's not forget the dwarf controversy. Disney tried to be progressive by reimagining the Seven Dwarfs using CGI instead of hiring actors with dwarfism, sparking heated debates within the industry. While some praised the decision, others criticized it as exclusionary. In the midst of all this, Rachel remained largely silent, failing to address concerns in a way that might have softened the blow. It was yet another example of her inability, or unwillingness, to navigate sensitive topics diplomatically. Now, as Disney allegedly scrambles behind closed doors to contain the damage, the burning question remains: how long before they officially cut ties with Rachel Zegler? Will she take responsibility for her actions and acknowledge the role she played in the movie's failure, or will she continue spiraling out of control on live TV and social media? Some speculate that Disney might replace her with another actress, perhaps someone like Jenna Ortega, to rehabilitate the image of the franchise. Others wonder if this is all part of a larger setup, a lesson Hollywood wants to teach about staying in line and maintaining professionalism. Whatever happens next, one thing is clear. This Snow White remake turned into one of Disney's biggest disasters, and Rachel Zegler is undeniably front and center in the chaos. From fan shade and leaked messages to political posts and co-star tensions, it's all just too much to handle. So, what do you think? Is Rachel capable of turning things around, or has she dug herself too deep a hole? Let me know your thoughts down below. Smash that like and subscribe button, and definitely check out the next video on your screen.